Hi, in this episode of Toysbackzen, I'm going to be taking these Captain Power vehicles and see if I can get them cleaned up. And there's a few things wrong with the XT-7, which is the jet on the right. We're going to see if we can get these working. Now, if I flip this over here, you can see it's missing a battery cover. Now, this toy takes two types of batteries. It takes the two AA's here, and it takes a 9-volt on the body, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. So I have to make a battery cover. It seems like it's going to be an easy cover to make, and so that's the first thing we want to do. Here you can see I have Captain Power in there. He's sitting in there. Now this jet is missing a seat, and I'm not going to make a seat for this. I'd rather have the original seat because I think it'll look better. So I eventually will probably find a seat for this jet. But today we're just going to be focusing on making that battery cover. And we're going to also be taking a look at this interlocker too. This is the interlocker, this is the bad guy's vehicle. It's really dirty, so both of these toys are going to have to be cleaned. It does have the seat for this. And the idea behind these toys is it was interactive with the TV show. You also got a VHS tape with it. There's a sight there. It's a little loose, and I don't have anything with this. I don't have the VHS. I don't have the TV show. So the only way we can test this is to try to see if they can interact with each other, which these toys do. You can see here, here's the seat. That switch there holds the seat in. And so we'll explore this toy in a little bit more detail. And I've never really played with this toy. I didn't have this as a kid, so this is all an experiment for me too. Alright, so let's get into making the battery cover. I'm going to take some measurements here in millimeters. So this battery cover needs to be 31 millimeters long. We've got 16 millimeters wide. And there is a thickness to this plastic, so we're going to make a piece that's about 2 millimeters thick. That's going to be our base piece that we're going to make. So let's get into that. So I've got two kinds of pieces of styrene here. We've got a corrugated styrene that I'm going to glue to this flat styrene, and both of these styrenes is about 1 millimeter thick, maybe a little bit more, but it'll all work out. The reason why I'm using the corrugated styrene is you need to have some kind of texture so that you can pull the battery cover off, and I figured this corrugated styrene would be the perfect material for that. This is all an experiment. It's kind of like in real time here. I don't really have a plan for this other than styrene. So let's see what we have to do here. Just going to use some plastic weld and plastic weld these two pieces together. They seem to be fitting the space well. After letting that dry for a little bit, we're going to test it and see if it's going to fit with those two pieces glued together. And that seems to fit really well. Now I've also got this piece of metal. This is going to be glued underneath this battery cover. And the idea is when this is put in, this piece of metal goes against the bottoms of the batteries and makes the connection so that the toy works. So this is kind of my idea here. It's kind of my prototype. I actually got this metal. I just cut it from an old piece of ductwork that I had in my garage, and I'm just trying to shape it and try to figure out how it's supposed to go. I'm going to also use this punch here and make some divots in the metal. And this is going to bulge the metal out on the side so that when it slides across the batteries, it has a good connection to the bottom of the flat piece of the battery. You can see that those two AA batteries are in there with the negative side out, so that's the flat part. Well, while I think about that piece for a little bit longer, let's continue making this battery cover. It actually slides in, but it also has to tab in, and there's these little pieces in the opening where the batteries are that the battery cover actually slides in and holds it into place. So I'm going to make that, and hopefully you can understand what I'm doing here as I'm doing it. I finally found an example of what this battery cover is supposed to look like. In my mind, I kind of figured it out that it was supposed to look like this, but it's nice to actually see the actual battery cover. So I'm going to use that picture as more of a guide to what I've got to do. So I fooled around with that metal piece that we need to put into this for the contacts, and I've kept kind of an opening in between the middle of the battery cover on the underside. And I'm just going to glue that with crazy glue right on the bottom there, and we should be able to work with that. After trying my battery cover and looking at the original battery cover, I noticed that those little pieces, those little tracks that I made all the way across the bottom, they were too long, so I cut those back quite far. The reason why is because that triangle piece underneath, you can't actually pull that completely out. It just pulls out like maybe even less than this. I'll probably have to cut that a little bit more, but it just pulls out probably like a half a centimeter, and then you just pull up on the battery cover. So it's supposed to go right in there, right in that track, and clips in. So that works really good. I'll continue on with making the pieces here.
Captain Power has come to TV, and you can be part of it. What are you doing? Aim the Power Jet XT-7, fire invisible beams at the television targets, and score! Or be hit.
The TV show fires back!
No kidding. Captain Power versus Lord Dread.
I don't believe it!
Believe it, short human. The power of the future is in your hands. Believe it.
Captain Power jet and figure sold separately. Batteries not included.
While the contacts were drying, I made this tab out of some more styrene, 2 pieces of styrene, a little small piece glued to the long piece. I'll shape this a little bit with my nail file here, and then we'll plastic weld this to the bottom of the battery cover.
XT-7 scores! Vandal Striker scores!
Interlocker scores.
Interlocker? What's that?
A new Lord Dread device.
I don't believe it.
Interlocker zeroes in on a TV target, fires invisible beams, and scores. And keeps score.
Or gets hit.
Interlocker scopes out the XT-7, scores.
Or be hit. The power of the future is in our hands.
We'll see.
Captain Power figures and vehicles sold separately.
So here's my completed battery cover here. It's all dry. It's all shaped the way I want it, and I think it turned out pretty good. Let's put it in there and see how it works. There we go. And that looks really good. Actually, it looks kind of original, even though the original one had, you know, some writing on it and stuff. Let's turn it on and see what it sounds like. And it works. That's pretty sweet. So next I got some old stickers or old glue or something on this. So I'm going to take some lighter fluid, clean those pieces up. So I'm going to take this jet and the Interlocker, which is the black vehicle, and I'm going to give them a good wash. There's a lot of electronics in these, so I'm just going to take a damp cloth with some soap and water on it and lightly brush all the dust off and everything, and then I'll come back and we'll see if these things can interact with each other. So the interlocker is kind of interesting where you've got these sights that you put your eyes into, and then you can look into the sight down in the front there. You can use that to aim at the jet or whatever you're aiming at on the TV and try to stop the enemy or stop the good guy. So let's see if these interact with each other. Obviously, I'm going to shoot at the interlocker because it has the seat, and I want to see if I can get the seat to eject. I don't really hear it making the sounds that it should when it gets hit by the jet. It's really not doing anything. Here you can see the scoreboard there that lights up, and you can see how you can use the sights to aim at the jet, and you can hear the jet is making a sound when it hits something. So that was pretty cool. I didn't really get them to interact as much as I would expect them to, so there's something going on with the infrared signal that's going from one to the other. But my main goal in this video was to get them cleaned up and see how they worked. And now I have a better understanding of how these interact with each other. And I made the battery cover. So hopefully this will help you if you want to make your own battery cover, because I never see these battery covers for sale by themselves. And I notice on eBay there is a lot of these vehicles that are missing battery covers. So thanks for watching this episode of Toysbackzen. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have subscribed to my channel, thanks a lot for that. Please leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of this toy and this repair. Have a great day and see you later.